trees have been.
Oh, yeah. We just want to look at our handiwork. Hi, Doug.
Hi.
It was restaurant. You heard that?
Planet Restaurant.
I thought it was perfect. You know, Corey used to say, best poetry is that was made by.
So if you guys stand together, now you have good planets are hard to find. Rise up and act now.
You're framed with the word stop. Please, sir, tell us why you're here.
I am here because I am convinced and have been convinced for a very long time, as I wish most people were also convinced, that it is absolutely essential that we tolerate no more fossil fuel infrastructure development and no more drilling of oil, gas, fracking, tar sands. All of it has to stop immediately, and instead we should be putting our money into renewables right now.
Exactly, of all the pieces.
All of these things are related.
Yeah.
War and peace issues,
Yes.
agricultural issues, the whole...
You can't separate one from the other either.
No.
They're utterly interrelated, just like interbeing, just like the concept of interbeing, of Thich Nhat Hanh, of life itself, utterly connected.
Did you go to hear Vandana Shiva talk last week?
No,
she was wonderful. She
I
was
was doing
terrific.
another. Oh yes, you were there.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She was very, very strong on the anti-GMO bill. And, you know, right there, Vermont Law School, where she spoke, is really the home of that bill. And she was excellent at pointing out how this single bill in Vermont, tiny state, was going to have an impact internationally because it was the first effort to really note just how important the labeling is, so that right down to the level of seed distribution, that whole move toward GMOs has to stop, and why. And she really didn't take the time to spell out the relationships of her seed movement and GMOs and all of those issues relate to these issues, but she referred to it.
Yes, I heard her say that statistics are that 75 or 80% of natural species are destroyed around areas where there have been large planting of GMO crops. So that's within a short number of years. We're talking 15 years, 20 years, something like that. That's nothing in geological time.
Right.
How can we dare to mess with like this?
Hey Nina, you're sharing a banner with me. It's me. Here I am. We have only started.
Hard to find.
Yeah, I was thinking. No, because you were. Yeah, not you. Okay.
To the bank. Let's show them.
And we should stay to the right so that people come into the left.
Actually, things are very chaotic. No, I agree with that. Should you not be like right here? Oh, you know what? You need to be over here. That's all right.
we are proposing is that there be a moratorium on all new fossil fuel infrastructure construction in Vermont. Why are we investing in infrastructure for fossil fuels that are only going to increase climate change and take away investment? This same money could be invested in renewable energy. The natural gas that is so vaunted as being this bridge fuel is in fact vastly overestimated. The federal government claims that there is 4 times more natural gas than experts say really exists, and all of the natural gas fields, all of the gas shales are actually diminishing in their production except for the Marsalis shale. So why are we building infrastructure to bring this gas here when it is already starting to diminish and will run out, some people say, within the next 7 years? This money could be very well spent investing in renewable energy to make Vermont self-supporting in its energy, to be self-supporting in its energy rather than importing dirty fossil fuel energy from other places where fracking is having terrible effects on other communities. There are now reports that in communities where fracking exists, there is enough air pollution in the local air from these gas wells to be causing increases in cancers and other ailments. We should not be importing gas from this. We should not be using this energy. We should become energy self-sufficient.
What about the conflict of interest that we have in our state government? If our current Secretary of State was actually a lobbyist for the company that wants to build the Edison gas pipeline, Fracked gas pipeline.
I think that is a real problem, and it's sort of symptomatic of the whole problem with government in general, with federal government and now our state government, that the people, special interest groups are infiltrating and have their representatives in positions of power where they can push these things through without sufficient research, without a real eye to the real future. It's all short-term gains, short-term money, short-term corporate profits, nothing to do with the long-term health of the environment or the planet. This is just a very unhealthy way of doing things.
So we don't understand exactly why you're standing in front of this bank.
What's critical about why we're here every month is that, first of all, TD Bank, this bank right here at the corner of State and Main, is the second largest bank in all of Canada. And it also is the second greatest investor through all of its various parts in precisely the XL Keystone Pipeline. What's more, it also is the third largest investor in Enbridge, which is another pipeline company that is attempting to build pipelines to carry tar sands oil from the west to the east across Canada and down through the United States. So that's the connection of the bank. Vermont uses TD Bank for virtually all of its operating expenses, all of its budget. It has millions of dollars that flow through this bank, and just last year alone, the state of Vermont in fees paid more than $700,000 to this bank. So the state is, in effect, supporting tar sands drilling, is supporting the pipeline by keeping its money in this bank, and it has many, many, many other alternatives, many opportunities to use other banks, local banks, state banks, and so on.
Do you see the creation of a state bank in Vermont as a very important step, a viable alternative to the situation that we now have economically?
I think it's a viable alternative and one that ought to be investigated. There are other states, North Dakota is one, that do have state banks. The advantage of a state bank is that instead of money moving out of the state, it all would stay here and it could support local businesses rather than tar sands, oil exploitation, and pipelines.
Thank you. And how is it that you come by this information so explicitly?
Study. Anyone can find these things out. It's really not difficult. I've been involved in issues like this for years and years and years and years. In New York, in Minnesota, New Hampshire, here, Pennsylvania, lots of places.